No, I mean, I think the story of the game is, one of the units that's probably been our best unit on the year, which is special teams. Had some really, uncharacteristic of that group, and the players that are on it, some, really critical special teams errors early in the game, and then, just an overall team deficiency ability to stop the run game, and so I think, any time that they came in, ran the same 2 runs they've been running all year. We had as many human beings near the tackle box, I think, as you possibly could, and still weren't able to stop the run. And so those would probably be the 2 biggest reasons why the score was the way it was. And they definitely looked like they were in their 3rd year of the program. Big, good-looking, long bodies, and we'll be there soon too.
Third quarter, 2-score game. I think you guys had a couple of chances to stop them on 3rd and 3, 3rd and 5. It seemed like you couldn't quite get one to stop when it really mattered.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem like you guys couldn't get one to stop.
Oh no, we really didn't do that all day. I don't think the down and distance or the time in the game mattered. When they really needed to run the football, they found a way to do that. And we got a lot of work to do, a lot of player development. A lot of coaching, a lot of everything, and so it's somewhere where we've got to improve. If we're going to be who we say we want to be, that's something that's got to change. So.
What did you think of the quarterback play out of Andrew Reed up today?
I thought for his first time out there in a couple of weeks, I didn't think it was, all too bad. Probably 1 or 2 choices he probably would have liked to have back in the RPO game. Probably being a little too over aggressive there. But he gave us a chance to win the football game, and that's especially in the situation where you've got some older guys that have played a couple more reps of him. They're a little beat up, and Andrew got his turn to go out there, and I thought that he did a decent job.
Is there frustration at the fact that defensively it seems like you guys are struggling to make that improvement in terms of
frustration? As a competitor, yes. Where we are as a football team and what we're going to have to do to fix that. No, I think that's, part of, I think I've said since the day I got hired, there's going to be 2 things we're going to have to do at a high level, and one's accrue talent, and 2 is develop said talent. And so I think that's why, the staff and we are in every way, shape, form, fashion recruiting at a high level, doing everything we possibly can to change the way this football team looks. And when there's a team from 1.5 hours away going to their 3rd year of the program, and the visual disparity between both lines of scrimmage being that apparent, that says we got a lot of work to do in recruiting.
Is there a short-term solution in terms of not necessarily fixing it entirely, but kind of making those strides that teams aren't able to really, gash you as much on the ground?
Yeah, and again, I think there's a couple parts to that. Number one, we got to coach them better. And obviously I'm the head football coach, and I'm ultimately responsible for everything that happens. And we give up 300 and however many yards it was, 300 something on the ground. I'm the guy where that finger goes. You're never once going to hear me lay blame on a kid. You're never once going to hear me lay blame on somebody. I got to fix it, and I understand that. But we've got to coach better. And again, no matter what our limitations are, we've got to find ways to put our players in the best position to make plays humanly possible. And then we've got to continue to learn how to prepare. And I think some of that's cultural more than anything else, but we're getting there. And stopping the run and running the football, is more of a program mentality than is anything else. We've got to recruit it, we've got to build it, and we've got to develop it every day. And we'll get there. I promise you, before it's all said and done, we're going to put a defense out there that people are really proud of.
It seemed like in the first half, despite the interception, Burrito was doing well with the long ball, and then that kind of diminished more in the second half. Did something change in the game plan there?
No, nothing really changed in the plan. I think they just got tired of us throwing it over their head. Obviously, especially as the score starts to run away, and there's a little bit more separation in the scoreboard, and knowing that they were able to run the ball as effectively as possible, you just saw things start to loosen up, and really, they're going to take that away from you. And so, We kept trying to push it over their head, knowing that, again, we're going to have to score ourselves back into this football game. But, where the scoreboard was, how effective they were running the football, they just loosened up a little bit and made us play the long game.
You talked about the disparity in the trenches on both sides, but Bilal, I think, career high, close to 160 on the ground. What did you like about the way he was running the ball?
I think the biggest thing is just, anything that you ask that kid to do, he's going to do everything he can to do it at a high level. And I also think, Houston being in a lot of the same situation that we were last week, they were on their third or fourth quarterback, I think. Holgerson's son was out there. And, they had a chance. They had a tough time running the ball. I think early in the game, big number 57 not being in there for them, helped a little bit of that. But I think some of those younger O-linemen, and Bryce Wade, played a lot of snaps today kind of for the first time all year. I thought Bryce Wade did a nice job overall, not that he played perfect. Helber's getting better. Dalton played, pretty complimentary football, and Larnell as well, and so just I thought that O-line group did a nice job. And, it's not just one dude back there. Running the football is a team effort, and I thought that Bilal not only seeing the ball, taking care of the football and running the way he does, but that majority young O-line did a nice job.
You mentioned Dalton played good complimentary football. Honestly, there was the fumble that, wasn't the best snap from him. I think he had a couple others that were a bad snap. I know he got called at least once for a snap infraction. What did you kind of see out of him, I guess, holistically on a game, or maybe it wasn't necessarily?
Yeah, well, dude, I have I have not looked at the stats yet. I have no idea how many plays that we played, but that's kind of the life of the center. People really only notice what's going on when it ain't great. And so we had the snap that if we just fall on it and live to punt the football, we'll be okay. No, I thought Dalton overall, and again, we haven't seen the tape, and when you're standing on the sideline, it doesn't necessarily give you a great picture of one individual human being in the middle of all the mess, but we'll get back and we'll watch the tape, and I know this, the one thing I do know about that young man is if Dalton can make it better, everything that he can possibly do within his power to correct it, he's going to do it.
You mentioned falling on the football. Did you notice that Brito was maybe a little bit tentative, I guess, early on, kind of coming back from the concussion?
No, not at all, man. He's good to go. Now, does that mean he's going to play his best football? That's up to him. But no, I didn't think that at all. I thought that there were times when he's really confident and felt great about it. I thought he looked really good. But I think again he'll continue to improve with every repetition that he gets, with every rep in practice that he gets. And hopefully moving forward, he'll continue to improve.
First time all year you guys have had a quarterback throw for 200 yards. What was working better for you guys in the passing game?
I think the biggest thing is just we were able to push the ball down the field and create some shot plays. There's a lot of parts that go into that. Whether it's receivers winning, whether it's linemen pass protecting. Whether it's tailbacks winning in pass protection, but I think more than anything else, we were able to hit some bigger balls down the field.
The his first several passes were short. Was that kind of by design to get him on a little bit of on a roll?
Trying to think. First play of the game, check the ball down outside, swerve. Not necessarily sure if I can off the top of my head, but just in terms of him doing a nice job checking the ball down and finding completions, I thought he did a decent job of that early in the game. In terms of him being short, I guess that's part of what the defense allowed you to have. So,
Coach Edsel this week kind of opened up a little bit about the challenges of coaching young athletes in today's climate with all the distractions of cell phones, social media. I don't know if you had any comment on if you heard what he said or if you had any comment about.
I did hear what he said. I think every coach in America, especially ones that are a little bit outside the realm of that age group, and I think more than anything else, I think a lot of adults, they struggle with the fact that, it's much harder to raise kids than the way they were raised. And I think anytime there's that, I think people are going to struggle, but every coach in the country deals with it. You know, some very well, some in the middle. You know, but again, you know, no different. No one cares about our problems, and most are glad you have them. You know, you got to find a way to reach people. You got to find a way to reach hearts and minds. You got to find a way to get kids to believe in something bigger than themselves. And is it harder today probably than it ever is before? Yeah, but it'll be harder for the coaches 30 years from now. You know, and but you know, that is the way it is. I mean, yeah, I will say this: I'm sure there are a lot of people, you know, in the world that don't quite understand or don't appreciate what Coach Edsall had to say. But I mean, that guy took UConn to a Fiesta Bowl, you know, and that's really hard to do, you know. And then you see and it may not show in the wins and losses, but you look at the improvement of the way their roster looks just in a 3-year period, not really counting your first recruiting class because you got 2 weeks and that really doesn't count. But he's a good football coach, and, you know, I know he said what he said, but everybody in the country deals with it. He's just probably the only one tough enough to actually mention it in the media.
How do you describe the emotions of this defense right now? You know, obviously has been a rough past couple of weeks for you guys. What's the mental state of this defense right now?
We hurt, and you can see it on people's faces. UConn didn't really do anything that we didn't work on throughout the week. So we'll just go back in the film room and on to Liberty now.
Is there a sense of frustration to kind of see the same problems kind of seem like come up over and over again week after week?
I won't say frustration because a lot of guys in the locker room, you know, like Bilal was throughout the game, you know, we just make sure everyone keep their heads up before any type of frustration actually goes down. So I won't say frustration, just probably a disappointment.
Andrew, how was it finally getting back out there after the concussion?
I felt good to be back out there. You know, obviously don't love the result of the game, but as an offense, I think we did what we were supposed to do most of the time. Obviously, a couple plays we'd like to have back, but it felt great to be back out there.
What was working for you guys in the passing game? It seemed like this is the best you guys have thrown the ball all season.
Our O-line did a great job today protecting, and this week I feel like I felt more comfortable than every other week that I've been here so far, and the game felt a little bit slower, and the reads were kind of exactly what we expected. So I'm really thankful for the coaches for preparing us very well.
Early in the game, you were kind of throwing a lot of deep balls, and you were targeting O.C. Johnson a lot too. Talk about your guys' chemistry and why that was working early on.
O.C., you know, he's probably one of the fastest dudes on the team, if not like the second behind this guy. You know, we love to use him as a weapon. He would be a great asset to any offense, and when we see a matchup one-on-one, you know, we want to take it. So.
Ball career high on the ground for you. What was working well for you when you're running the ball?
Just running hard and giving a good effort. The O-line, they did tremendous up front today, just as well, like in pass protection. Up front, they got the push that we needed, and the reads that we needed was key to just cashing them up the field. So we knew coming to this game we wanted to play hard knock football, just running it right up their throat and everything like that. So it just that's what I was
How
playing.
much did the running game help you in passing?
Tremendously. No offense is gonna work without a run game. You have to establish a run game first, and we did that today, and that opened up the passing game.
I feel like you have one of the better views of the kickoff, you know, coverage unit in front of you. What was different about this unit today that didn't seem like you were able to get the ball nearly as far down the field on those returns?
We're just overthinking a lot. You know, everyone's just trying to make big plays, and we just got to learn to just do our jobs and focus more on details.
Talk about Kevin Mensah and like why he was so difficult to tackle today.
It just all goes back to practice, you know. So we just gotta go back in the film room and focus more on drills and just go hard and play very smart throughout the week and transition Saturdays.
How much energy did to give the sideline? I mean, you blocked the field goal, and then you know to answer back Andrew's interception with one wrong. How much energy that give you guys those two big plays?
Well, first I felt I let the team down with the fumble. So I think Bilal was the first one just telling me, like, yo, keep your head up. I need to play right now. And I was like, all right, got you. So I had told Martin, I was like, I'm blocking his next kick regardless because they're not going to score. So we went down and it was fourth down. I went to go block the kick. And I just kept telling him I just owe the team. So then those plays happened. Then Burrito came back and led the drive down.
Was there frustration for you after, I think it was late in the second quarter, and UConn quarterback looked like was throwing it out? It seemed like you just knew exactly where it was and it was in your hands. Was there frustration when
Nah.
you did secure that one?
Not much of frustration. The guy ran a hitch and he threw it as an out route, and it tipped my hand. Probably looked bad from view, but it was kind of far out, so I take the pass deflection there.
You guys have all kind of talked about keeping your head up. How much of that is like the culture that you guys are trying to foster here going forward?
It means everything. If you got guys on the team who are discouraged, feeling sorry for themselves, nothing's gonna get better. So obviously this isn't a great season for anybody. Everybody outside of this team thinks that we like getting blown out every week. Obviously it's the worst feeling in the world, but it's just about keeping your head up, moving on to the next week, preparing all week, and just staying focused.
I feel like what we're trying to develop here, just keep moving forward, never take steps backwards. That's the culture we're trying to build here. Just don't worry about the results. Like, don't worry about what's happening now. Like, results will come later, and we know that. So just keep taking steps forward and keep doing what we got to do our job, and just play smart every week, and just keep building on that.
Well, did you feel like the offense was maybe more comfortable as the game kind of turned into a little bit more shootout, given the fact that you guys, especially the veterans, have been in a lot of shootouts over these past couple of years?
I feel like, they developed that comfortableness, and just like the big plays we were making just created momentum for us. So it just like the drive that we had, we wanted to keep going and going and going. So the more momentum that we have, I feel like it just creates plays within itself, and you just do our job and do what we have to do.